So, have you ever seen the police use a flashlight to look into somebody's vehicle? Let's say you're pulled over by the police and it's late at night and they use the flashlight to look into the interior of your car. Or maybe you have tinted windows and the police can't fully see inside your car, so they take a flashlight to look through your windows. Is it legal for the police to use a flashlight to illuminate the interior of your car? So I'm criminal defense attorney Hannah Akintoye. Now, when it comes to whether it's legal or illegal for the police to use a flashlight when looking into your car, what we're really asking is, does using a flashlight amount to an illegal search of your car, or does it violate your constitutional rights? Now, the general rule when it comes to searches is that a police officer must always have a warrant to search. And if they don't have a warrant, then it must fall under an exception to the warrant requirement. And so there are tons and tons of exceptions to the warrant requirement, but essentially the one that you need to know for this particular situation is the plain view doctrine. So what's the plain view doctrine? The plain view doctrine is essentially a legal provision that says if the police are standing in a place that they are lawfully permitted to be, and in the course of being where they are positioned, they view something that seems immediately apparent as contraband, they are permitted to go ahead and seize that item. So when we're talking about the situation that I just mentioned with the police using a flashlight to illuminate, first of all, they have to be in a place that they are legally permitted to be. So that means if you're pulled over by the side of the road, obviously they can be in on a public road, right? That's a given. But when we're coming to the use of the flashlight, can the police actually use that flashlight to illuminate the interior of your car? And the answer is yes. Now, I know you're wondering, well, how in the world is that fair? How can they use something to enhance their vision? So the best way that I can explain this is when you're looking at two people. One person wears glasses and the other person doesn't. Now, me, myself, and I can see clearly because I have 20/20 vision. So if I were to go to a vehicle at nighttime and look inside the vehicle, I can see the contents of the vehicle. It's not that difficult for me. But for somebody who wears corrective lenses, and for those of you who wear glasses, bless your hearts, because I know it's very difficult for you to see at nighttime. But if you put on your glasses, let's say you're a police officer, and you put on your glasses at nighttime to see something, it doesn't necessarily amount to a search, right? A search requires that you actually move or manipulate something in order to see better or see clearly. So for instance, if it was a vehicle and the officer opened the vehicle door, well then that is a search. Or if the officer enters the interior of the vehicle and starts moving things, that's a search. If the officer winds down your window, that is also a search, because now they've manipulated the item in order to see better, or they've manipulated the car in order to see what's inside. In a situation where a police officer uses a flashlight, it simply allows them to see a little bit more clearly, similar to a person who is wearing corrective lenses or glasses. So as I had mentioned previously, although the plain view doctrine allows a police officer to seize something that is immediately apparent as contraband, they have to be positioned where they were lawfully permitted to be in the first place. So if we're dealing with a situation, for instance, where the police are on a public road, everybody has access to public roads, right? But we don't always have access to places where there is a reasonable expectation of privacy. And so that's when we're talking about your residence, inside your home, in other places where you expect full privacy. But on a normal day, if somebody's walking down the street and your vehicle is parked on the street and they see inside your vehicle that you have a phone in there or you have other items in there, you're not gonna scream and shout and say, okay, well, that person searched my car. Or even if they go to your window and they start really looking inside, it doesn't amount to a search. And similarly with police officers, if they are using a flashlight where they're permitted to be, it doesn't amount to a search. If the police, however, intrude into an area where they are not lawfully permitted to be and they don't have a warrant, and through that intrusion, they are able to find or see in plain view an item that is apparent as contraband, then in that particular situation, because they use an illegal intrusion to find contraband, then that would be a constitutional violation, and it would be an intrusion of your freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures. So what's really important to remember is that the way that they got to seeing that contraband, weapons, drugs, whatever it is, they have to be in a place that they are lawfully permitted to be in the first place. So I hope that clarifies for you, whether police officers are allowed to use flashlights to illuminate the interior of vehicles and other items and other objects. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach me here and comment your questions below, or you can reach me on my website, mydclaw.com, and I'm always happy to chat with you further. As always, stay safe, and I will see you all soon.